Good morning, everybody. Happy day to you. We are at the third game on June the 8th. Coming from the Metrodome in Minnesota, it's the Kansas City Royals and the Minnesota Twins. Hopefully, this game will be closer than the first two games were of the week, but you never know how the dice are going to react. It's game number 381 total on the replay. The Metrodome is hitter friendly. Singles are 1 to 16 left and 1 to 13 right, and home runs are 11 on both sides of the plate. Starting pitchers for today's game: ID Jester's favorite pitcher, Mark Gubicza, otherwise known as Mark Gubicza, is on the mound for the Royals, and Mike Smithson is on the mound for the Twins. Good morning, Kathy. Hope you're doing well. We'll get our Strat computer going, fired up here, and get this ball rolling. Minnesota and Kansas City are battling each other for that American League West placement, as they are behind the Oakland A's by about 4 games each. So 27 and 28, 26 and 27, a virtual tie for third place. Smithson has a +5 hold. Actually, he's got a +7 hold rating, so he's going to be a +5. Whereas Mark Gubicza has a +1 hold rating and Quirk has a +1, so he's a +2. So both teams' base runners are going to have, good chances to steal when it comes to that. All right, let me make sure everything looks like it's all right, as far as I can tell. Game is up on the Strat-O-Matic computer, so I've got that all fixed up. Let's look at Mike Smithson first on his real world season. He was 4-7 with a .594 earned run average. On the replay, he is 2-3 with a .439 earned run average. So he's doing much better on the replay than he did in real world. Don't know if that'll continue or not. And leading off for the Royals will be the speedy, veteran but speedy Willie Wilson. And Wilson on the replay is hitting .292, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He hit .279 real world. And of course, before we have the first pitch, we need the ceremonial first sip. That is good coffee. Third cup of the day, and my third and final cup of the day, and it's a good cup too. I'm going to have a second sip while it's still hot, because you can't ever have too many sips of coffee, in my opinion. All right, here's Willie Wilson, switch hitter, batting left-handed against Smithson. 410. That's a ballpark single check. It's already going to favor the batter. It's a 1 to 16, but that's a 17. Wow, that kind of went away a little bit. So Wilson kind of got a bad break there. Double die was not cooperative. Smithson catches a break. There's one away, and here's Kevin Seitzer, third baseman. Seitzer on the replay is hitting .286, 8 homers, 34 driven in. He hit .323 real world. 110, and that's going to be a solid single for Kevin Seitzer. See if he would want to do any running, because, again, you got that +5 hold chance. So we look at Seitzer. He needs a 5 or a 6 to get the good lead. And with that +5 there, you've got to go for it. Does not get the good lead. And his secondary numbers, even with that +5, is not going to help him. It'd be a 6 plus -4 for me. No, make it a 2. It'd be only a 1 to 7. So definitely not a possibility there. Here's Danny Tartable. Tartable on the replay hitting .325, 14 homers, 39 driven in. He hit .308 real world. 5-4, and that's trouble for Smithson. 1 to 18 is a triple. That's a 10. Tartable had 3 triples in real worlds, and this is his first triple in the replay. So it took him a while to get one, but he finally got his first triple of the replay. It comes off of Smithson, and the Royals grab a quick 1-0 lead. Just how quickly the tide can turn on you right there. All right, here is Thad Bosley. The infield for the Twins is going to play in with 1 out and a runner at third. They don't give up a cheap run if they can avoid it. Bosley really struggling on a replay. 167, 2 homers, 8 driven in. He hit .279 real world. But the infield is in. I'm going to choke that run off. 5-12, and that's a split chance. 1 to 6 is a single. That double die shows up as a 3. So there's the base hit, and it's 2-0 Kansas City. They had Bosley an RBI single. Bosley has no threat to run, so he won't even be held. And here's Frank White, the venerable Frank White. He's hitting 239 on the replay, 6 homers, 19 driven in. He hit 245 in the real season. Smithson needs a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play in the worst way right about now. 3-4 won't get 3-5. You would have got it. 3-4 though is a walk. So missed it by that much, as Don Adams would have said. So first and second, still only one out. And here comes Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. Balboni is hitting 158 on the replay. 9 homers, 19 driven in. He at 207 real world. 4-7, and that is a ground ball. Second base X. Second baseman is Lombardozzi. He's a 2 E18. He's not holding anybody on, so he keeps the 2 range. So it's possible for a double play here. 2 E18. And an 18 on the double die definitely makes it possible for a double play. A 2 and an 18 is definitely a G1. And he is an E18, and that's an 8. E18, there is no 8 there, so it is a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, 4-6-3 to end the inning. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Be sure to stop by and say hello and tell them the demo sent you, as they are the unofficial sponsor of the tailor-made double play of the game. And the happiest guy about that is Mike Smithson. Gets him out of the jam. And we go to the bottom of the first, and Mark Gubicza / a.k.a. Gubicza is getting a 2-0 lead to work with before he even takes the mound. Real season 13 and 18, 3.98 ERA on the replay. Whoop, let me get the thing here in the computer so we got that straight. All right, on the replay, he's 5-5 with a 4.50 ERA. And he's going to face Al Newman, the shortstop. I'm not sure what's happening with Greg Gagne. He has not played for a couple of days, but he is on the roster. So I guess maybe he's just dinged up or something. But he is available to pinch hit. But they're going to use Al Newman again in the leadoff spot at shortstop. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. And Mike, thanks for the tip. I didn't even realize. If I had looked, I would have seen that Cerrone was listed with the pitchers, and I could have just dragged him in. But I didn't even see that. So I know now for next time. Although hopefully the Yankees won't get blown out so bad that I have to use a position player to pitch. All right, Newman on the replay hitting 248, no homers, 9 driven in. He at 221 real world. That's a 1-9, and that's a ground ball to second, 1 away. One down, and here is Randy Bush. Bush hitting 250 on the replay, 2 homers, 13 driven in. He at 253 real world. 6-5, and that's a fly ball to left where Bo Nose hauls that in. 2 up and 2 down. And here's Kirby Puckett. Puckett on the replay hitting 319, 9 homers, 30 driven in. He at 332 real world. 4-6, and that's a strikeout for Gubicza. 1, 2, 3 inning. Talk about a shutdown inning. There you have it right there. And that's going to bring Smithson right back out on the mound. Didn't get much of a break, but he's got to go back out there. And now he's going to face Bo Nose to start the inning. Jackson on the replay, hitting 231, 7 homers, 19 driven in. He had 235 real world. 2-5, and he's going to strike out. First strikeout for Smithson. Bo, no strikeouts. He ought to. He struck out 158 times in 396 at-bats. So he definitely knew strikeouts. Here's Angel Salazar. Salazar hitting 258 on the replay. 2 homers, 11 driven in. He at 205 real world. 6-7, and that's a strikeout again for Smithson. Back-to-back Ks. Maybe he's figured something out between innings. Got with the pitching coach and figured out what he was doing. Here's Jamie Minute Quirk, and he's hitting 264. on the replay. No homers, 11 driven in. He hit 236 real world. 5-6, and that's a ballpark blast. 1-11, but that's a 16. So just a deep fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. So Smithson again saved by the double die with a high number. Saves his bacon. We go to the bottom of the second, still 2-0. Favor the Royals. Kent Hrbek will lead things off for the Twins. Hrbek hitting .305 on the replay. 15 homers, 41 driven in. I believe he hit 285. Yeah, 285 in real season. So 305 on the replay, 285 real world so far. This is about 198 for him. He had 477 real world, so he's got a long way to go. 1-9 for Hrbek, and he's going to ground it to second, where Frank White will take care of it. 1 down. Have not seen Mr. Guterman all week. I hope he's doing okay. Hope he's not sick or anything. Do miss not having him on the in the chat. Hopefully he is doing well. If you're watching this later, Jeff, hope you're doing well. All right, here's Gary Gaetti hitting .251 on the replay. 14 homers, 50 driven in. He had .257 real world. 6-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Salazar, 2E16. 2E16. 2 and a 5. 2 and a 5 is a G3. That's an 8. Let's see, G3 pound, but nobody's on base, obviously, so the pound's irrelevant. So that's an 8. And Salazar's an E16. There is no 8, so Salazar will make the play. 2 up and 2 down. And that will send up designated hitter Roy Smalley. I'm not sure which game will be tomorrow. It's 3 West Coast games. They're in Oakland, California, and Seattle, so it's got to pick one, I guess. I'm going east to west, and the last 3 games left are all West Coast games. So Smalley hitting 260 on the replay, 2 homers, 18 driven in. He at 275 real world. 6'4" switch hitter. Catcher X, we're looking at Quirk. He's a 4E10, but nobody's on base, so we don't have to worry about any pass balls or anything. 4 and a 15. 4 and a 15 is a P/F. It would normally have to worry about a potential pass ball, but nobody's on base, so it's just going to be a foul out, assuming there's no error. But that's a 15, so there could be an error there. He's an E10. E10 for a catcher. Fortunately for him, only a 12 and 18. No other results, so it will be a foul out to Jamie Quirk, and that will end the inning. So 6 up, 6 down so far for Gubicza. And after 2 complete, it's 2-0 Kansas City. Top of the order due up, Willie Wilson. Flew to right his first chance, and now we're going top of the third. It's time for some more coffee. While it's still warm, here is Wilson. .26 for Wilson. It's ground ball to short. And Mr. Newman takes care of that. 1 away. Here is Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer singled his first time up. 110 for Seitzer. That's another single. So Seitzer continues the hot hitting. He's 2 for 2. And he will try to get that lead. He needs a 5 or a 6 to get the lead. Doesn't get it, but that's a 1. He could be picked off, and that's a bad number, 6. So 1 to 6, he gets back safely. 7 or higher, Smithson has just picked him off. And he gets picked off. So he tried to get the lead and got picked off. That's the danger when you attempt the lead. You can get picked off. You can't just do it carte blanche. There are consequences if you don't get the lead. So 2 outs, base is empty now for Danny Tartable. And that's what the Havoc roll is all about. 2-5, and look at this. 1 to 8's a home run. That's a 7. That's gone. Danny, oh boy, and he just got picked off, cost him a run. Look at that. 2-5 is a home run. 1 to 8, and that's a 7. It's not clean, but it's gone. Danny Tartable. we're on cycle alert for Danny Tartable. He's tripled and now he's homered in his first 2 at bats. I know I just jinxed it by saying it. But Tartable, his home run number 15 on the replay, RBI number 41. He had 34 real world home runs, and this is home run number 15, and the Royals lead it 3-0. Here is Thad Bosley. 110, and that's a split chance. 1-4 is a single. That's a 6, so he lines it to second to end the inning. But the home run from Tartable gives the the Royals a little bit of breathing room. They lead it 3-0. Bottom of the third we go, and here's Gubicza. He'll be facing the bottom of the order, Brunansky, Lombardozzi, and Butera. And I did pull the Butera card. He was with the Cincinnati Reds, so I did pull him, and he's now right here. I don't need any screenshots or anything. Thank goodness I've got the actual card. So here's Brunansky. He's hitting 268, 8 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 259 real world. 1-8, and that's a base on balls, first base runner for the Twins. Got to start somewhere, I guess. Let's see. Brunansky can get a lead on a 3 through 7, or an 8, but he also gets or a 12. I'm sorry, 3 through 7 he gets the lead. 8 or 12 he gets picked off. Man, and if he got the lead, 15, 13, it'd be a 1-15 if he could get the lead. But you're down 3-0, so I don't think you're going to try to steal. Lombardozzi's an A bunter, but you're down by 3, so I don't see giving up outs, particularly in the Metrodome. You got to see if hitters can do what they need to do. Lombardozzi hitting 281 on the replay, 2 homers, 15 driven in. He hit 238 real world. That's a 4-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Willie Wilson. He's a 1E1. 1 and a 3. Even with a 3, it's not going to matter because he's a 1 defender. So I don't think that's going to mean that's a F2 at best. Yeah, the only reason I rolled a D20 in case I rolled a 1 because that way the runner would have advanced. But on an F2, he doesn't. That's a 9, and he's an E1. The only error is a 17, so there's no problem there for Wilson. He makes the catch, 1 away. 1 down, and that will send up Sal Butera, and this is Sal Butera's Minnesota card that I had tucked away in Cincinnati because he was started the season with the Reds, but he hit 171 in 111 bats with 1 home run. He's 2 for 4 on the replay, though, as he hit his home run in the first game. So he's got a double and a homer in his 2 hits. He's hitting 500 with a homer and 3 driven in. Butera trying to wreak havoc. 5-6, and that's a strikeout. He won't do it here. Gubicza gets him for his second strikeout. 2 down, and that will send up Al Newman. Brunansky still holding at first base. Not much going on with him. 6-10 for Newman, switch hitter. Ground ball third base X. Seitzer to 4E26. So this could sneak by him. But not with a 20, it's not. 4 and a 20 is good play. That's an 11, and he's an E26. E26, there is an 11 right here, so he will boot it. Look at it again. These are the 3 die, the total 11, and he's an E26. So that is a 1 base error on Kevin Seitzer and keeps the inning going. Gubicza thought it was about ready to walk into the dugout and then realized that he's got to keep going. And now it's a clutch situation for Randy Bush. And in the clutch, Bush gains a hit on 3-3 and 3-10. 3-3 and 3-10. That's a 2. Chance for balk or pass ball. Pass ball chance on Quirk is a 6. No pass ball. Here comes Bush. 3-8 for Bush, and he walks. And all of a sudden, the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Second walk issued by Gubicza. And now the bases are loaded for Kirby Puckett. 1 swing of the bat, and the Twins will take the lead. In the clutch, though, Puckett not very good. Loses 3 hits, 1-2, 1-7, and 1-8. So that column 1 becomes less dangerous in the clutch. It's a 3-9 though, and that is a fly to center that's going to end the inning. So Twins leave them loaded. Might come back to bite them there, leaving the bases loaded. So Gubicza pitches around the error. We go to the fourth, still a 3-0 Kansas City lead. Smithson, he has fatigue of 5, so next inning will be his fatigue inning. Frank White will lead it off. He walked his first time up. 3-6, and that's a ground ball to third, where Mr. Gaetti will take care of it. At least knock on wood so far, this game is not a blowout, but there's still 6 innings to go. Here's bye-bye Balboni. He hit into a double play his first chance. 2-3, and this time it's a ballpark single, 1-13. So Balboni benefits from the Metrodome with a base hit. Of course, he will not go anywhere. And here comes Bo Nose. He struck out his first time up. Two, 3 for Bo. That's a single. It's an anti-clutch, but we're not in that situation, so the single is good. Balboni, being as slow as he is not going to go anywhere, particularly with Puckett's -4 arm in center. So he'll just go one base and stay there. First and second, 1 out for Salazar. The only saving grace for Smithson is you get in the bottom of the order, where theoretically you could get out of this. 6-4, ground ball third base X. That's Gaetti. This is a potential double play. Gaetti is a 1. So it's a good chance that he could get a double play here if he doesn't boot it. 1-15 is definitely a G1. So it would be a double play without the error. There's a 9, and he is an E12. Go to third base, E12. There's no 9, so that's going to be an around the horn 5-4-3 double play. Not a tailor-made one, but it counts just the same, and it gets Smithson out of a jam. 5-4-3 around the horn double play ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still 3-0 KC without the Sunshine Band. And here is Gubicza. He'll be facing Kent Hrbek, Gary Gaetti, and Roy Smalley after some more coffee. So Hrbek, 4-9. That's a base on balls. Third walk issued by Gubicza. A little bit of control issues for Gubicza. He walked 120 in 242 innings, almost one every. He walked about 4.5 guys per 9 innings, so he did have a little bit of control issues apparently. Here's Gary Gaetti. Hrbek not being held. Gaetti. 3-8 for Gaetti. 1-10 is a single. 11-20 he lines out. That's a 5 base hit. 1 star. And now first and second, nobody out. First and second, nobody out. And here's Roy Smalley. And I wasn't going to, it just hit me to do this, and I'm not even sure if it's necessary to do it. But in case people are watching and wondering, because I know everybody keeps score their own, they have their own method for keeping score. I've watched a bunch of people keep score. Almost nobody does it the same. So if you want to, understand, and maybe you can tell, maybe this is not even necessary to say it, but for instance, start off with a walk. All right. So I put the slash here to say he went to first base, and I write in BB, so I know it's a walk. Next batter singles. He gets the slash with a single. And I put the number 5 up here saying that Hrbek got to second base based on what the number 5 hitter did. So that's why he's there. And the little 3 under the walk is telling me that that's Gubicza's third walk. It has nothing to do with Gaetti down here, but it's strictly up here. So when I put the number up here, that's telling me that Hrbek went to second based on the 5th batter, Gaetti. That's what he did. So in case you're curious as to why what I do or why I write little symbols wherever, you can see what's going on. Same with up here. Right here, Bernansky walked, and the next 2 guys struck out. Well, the error on Seitzer sent him to second base, but that was with the first batter, the leadoff batter, so I put a 1 there. And then when Bush walked, he went to third based on what the second batter did. I know it's hard to see it, but it's a 2 there. So in case anybody was wondering why I did what I did, or why I If you're trying to decipher my hieroglyphics, maybe that helps. I don't know. All right, anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with the game. Smalley. 5-4, switch hitter. Fly ball center field. That's one away. Here's Bernansky. .311. And for Bernansky, that's a ballpark single check. 1-13, but that's a 20. So he's just going to line it to short. I'm glad somebody does, Mike. But, I mean, I learned this from when I was very early in my baseball scorekeeping life. I was at work and I had a friend, a coworker that was the official scorer in college for the Virginia Tech baseball team. And he's the one that taught me how to score this. And I watched what he did, and I just adopted it. Never really thought about scoring any other way. So that's just the way it is. The weird part sometimes is, like, let's say Newman led off the inning and got on base. Then two guys got out, and while Herbeck was batting, he steals second. Well, I'm not going to put SB2 but saying he stole second base. I'm going to put SB4 saying he stole the base while the fourth guy was at bat. He didn't steal the base when these two guys were at bat. He stole the base when Herbeck was at bat. So that's, another thing there. The important thing is you should be able to take your score sheet 50 years from now, go back and look at an old score sheet, and you should be able to recreate what happened in that game perfectly. There should be no question whatsoever. All right, here's Lombardozzi in a clutch situation. 1-9, and he walks, and that's going to load the bases. That's the fourth walk issued by Gubicza. So now Herbeck goes to third based on what the eighth batter did. And Gaetti goes to second based on what the eighth batter. I know you can't see it's a little 8 there. I mean, I can read my hieroglyphics, but whatever. All right, here's Sal Butera. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. They just had that last inning, and Puckett failed in the clutch. Butera is not even rated for clutch. It's completely neutral. So there's no worries there one way or the other. That's a 2. And that's a 5. So Jamie Quirk's pass ball rating's a 6. And he has the pass ball, so that's going to score the run. So I put a PB over here. PB9, if I can fit it all. PB9. PB9. Saying they all moved up based on the pass ball when the 9th batter was at bat. So that'll get the first run on the board for the Twins. Now 3-1. Both runners are in scoring position. A single could possibly tie this game. 6-4. Catcher X. That is Quirk. 4E10. Now there are runners on base, so we could have a pass ball again. 4-14 might get him out of that, though. We'll see. A 4 and a 14 is still a P/F, so it's possible that it might be a pass ball, depending on the wild pitch rating of Gubicza. That's an 8. He's a 10. There's no 8 there, but a P/F. And on P/Fs, here they are. I use this part in bold where I use the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to determine if a pass ball occurred. Wild pitch rating on Gubicza is a 12. So if we get a 12 or lower on the D20, a pass ball has occurred. If we get a 13 or higher, no pass ball has occurred. We get a 10, so it's back-to-back pass balls. How many times do you see that? Back-to-back pass balls. 2 pass balls in a row on Mr. Quirk. Talk about a quirky stat. And now it's 3-2. Runner Lombardozzi at third, 2 outs. Could there be a third consecutive pass ball? We shall see. Gubicza's a little frustrated, as you can imagine. 1-5, and that's a pop-up to short to end the inning. But 2 runs come in. They're both unearned on pass balls by Jamie Quirk. Now a 3-2 ball game. All right, Smithson, this is his fatigue inning. It'll be, and who's going to lead off but Jamie Quirk? You know, you have that old saying where somebody makes a great defensive play and they lead off the next inning. Well, now this guy's had 2 pass balls in a row, and now he's going to lead off the next inning. And the Metrodome Twins fans give him a warm round of applause, as he is directly responsible for 2 runs. 3-11, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-16, and he's going to get a base hit, so maybe that's a little bit of a way to make up for it. I don't know. I don't think Gubicza is buying it, though. 1 away, or 1 on, and nobody out for Willie Wilson. Smithson, this is his fatigue inning, so we'll keep an eye on it. Wilson, 4-3, switch hitter batting left. Fly ball left field X. We're looking at Bernansky. He's a 2E4. 2E4. 2-13 is no problem. A 2 and a 13 should just be an F2, I think. Yep, no problem. There's a 7, and he's an E4. No 7, so just a fly to left. 1 away. And that'll send up Kevin Seitzer. 2 for 2 with 2 singles. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball on the Twins. Now we're looking at pass ball on Buteri. He's a 14. And he makes a pass ball. Or not makes he commits a pass ball, I guess is the better way to say it. And I put a 2 here behind the pass ball because it happened with the second batter at bat. So pass ball, and that takes the double play out of the equation. At least the ground ball kind, you're still the Lomax available. But ground ball kind is taken out of play. 2-7, and that is a fly to center, 2 down. And now here's Tartable. He's tripled and homered. See if he's going to do any damage here. First base is open, but we're not going to walk him. Let's see. It is a clutch situation, though. So in the clutch, he loses 2 hits, 8 and 9 in the column 2, and a 3-10. So he loses 3 hits, potentially, in this clutch situation. 4-7, though, is a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Lombardozzi. 2E18 for Lombardozzi. 2 and a 9. He should get to that with no problem. 2 and a 9 is a G2. That's a 12, and he is an E18. E18, no 12. There's a 13 there, but no 12, so they do retire Tartable to end the inning. So Smithson will keep some endurance into the 6th. No question. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Top of the order for the Twins. Newman stepping to the plate. 3-6 for Newman. He's going to fly it out to right field where Tartable puts it away. 1 down. Randy Bush flew to left and walked. 5-12, and that's a ballpark blast for Bush. 1-11, but that's an 18. So bad break there, just a deep fly to right and right in front of the baggie in right field. Tartable will make the catch. 2 down for Puckett. Puckett has gone 0 for 2. He struck out and flew to center. 2-8, and that is a ground ball to short to end the inning. Now the heart monster seems to have popped up again. I don't know why. Don't know where that's coming from. But here we go. Top of the 6th. Smithson back out. Going to be facing Bosley, White, and Balboni. 3-2 ball game. At least we got a close game today. 1-11 for Bosley. That's a fly to right field, and Mr. Bush will put it away. 1 down for Frank White. White is 0 for 1 with a walk. 3-4, and that's another walk for Frank White. And for Smithson, let's see. I didn't have me keep track of my walks like I should. 1, I think that's the second. I think he's walked White twice. That's his only 2 walks. So White is aboard. He's no threat to run, so he'll hold. And here comes bye-bye Balboni. He is hit into a double play and singled. Five, 7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Possible another double play could be coming up. Newman's a 3E12. But the 6 probably is going to prevent the double play. 3 and a 6 is a G3. There's a pound there, but they weren't holding the runner on. So G3 means only plays at first base. That's a 10, so it shouldn't be a problem with that. E12 and a 10 is no issue, but it's a G3 ground out, so the runner will advance on the 6-3 ground out. White will take second base based on what the 6th place hitter did. That's why I put a little 6 there. So ground out. So they couldn't get the double play, but at least they get 1 out. Maybe Gagne makes that play. You never know. So here's Bo Nose in a clutch situation. Smithson trying to get out of this inning. 5-4, and he's not going to do it. 1 to 18 is a triple. Bo Jackson had 2 triples in real world. He hasn't had one yet, but he's got his first one right now, and it's an RBI triple for Bo Jackson. RBI triple for Bo Jackson. And Smithson tried to get out of the inning unscathed, but not successful. Now here's Salazar. Clutch situation for Salazar. Bullpen is active for the Twins. 5-4. Same role we just had. It's another triple. Do you believe that? Back-to-back triples. However, Salazar had no triples in real world. So we're going to hold him to a double. We're not going to allow a triple to somebody that didn't have one. But it doesn't matter because it's going to score the run anyway. RBI double. And this is what following what the Strat-O-Matic computer would do. Smithson is now tired. Jamie Quirk is your batter. Let's go to the bullpen for the Twins. And they will go to left-hander, the only left-hander they have in the bullpen, which is Alan Anderson. So Alan Anderson will take over for Smithson. He couldn't quite get out of the 6th inning. He's going to go 5 2/3. And he's going to give up a total of 10 hits, also a total of 5 runs, but he's also responsible for Salazar. He walked 2, and he struck out, I believe, just these 2 here back to back, and that was it. So right now coming on is Alan Anderson, the left-hander. He is a 0 hold, so it makes him a +2. So he's going to see what he can do, Alan Anderson. Got to bring him in on the bullpen and check out what he's done on the replay. Anderson, where are you? Is he on the roster? Whoa, he's not on the roster. Let me take that back. Alan Anderson is not on the roster, so he cannot be used. My bad. Randy Neiman's on the roster, and I don't have a card for Randy Neiman. But I do have an image of Randy Neiman that I saved, so we'll be using that if it gets to that. So it's actually going to be Randy Neiman, former New York Met. I believe he was on the 1986 World Champion Met team. So let's get Randy Neiman. Let me bring him up on the phone here so we can have something. Let me bring him up on my images. I know I have an image of his card somewhere. At least I thought I did. Hope I did. Don't tell me I deleted it. Or is this it here? Come on. Give me something here. Come on. Here's Randy Neiman. I don't know how well it's showing up on the computer because of all this glare, but it's here. So I've got his... let's try this. Let's bring Neiman in on the computer. His only job is to get out Jamie Quirk. That's his main job. Neiman on the replay, on the season, he only pitched 5 innings for the Twins. He was 1-0, but an ERA of 8.44. He's only pitched 1 inning for the Twins so far. He's not given up anything. So let me see if I can have this where it shows up on the screen. I don't know if it does or not. Let's see if I can take this overhead light glare off and see if that helps. There's Randy Neiman. I don't know how well it shows up, but that's Randy Neiman against lefties. We're in the blue section. So if we roll for Jamie Quirk and we go to the pitcher card, we'll do that. Let's see if that's the case. We're off the batter card, so it's irrelevant. So we bring our lights back on, and we get a 1-5, and that's a ground ball to first, and that's going to end it. And that's the extent of Randy Neiman's performance in this ball game. So he does the job as far as getting out of any more further damage. 5 runs against Smithson, all earned. Smithson gave up some extra base hits. He's given up a home run, 2 triples, and a double in this game. So that's going to be it for Neiman. He's going to go a third of an inning, and that's it. His job was to get the lefty out and make sure I remove Alan Anderson from the active roster. And Neiman was not carded for the Mets or the Twins or anybody else for that matter. So we'll figure out who they're going to go to next. I think it's going to be George Frazier, but let me double check it. In the meantime, 2 more runs come in for the Royals, and they now lead it 5-2 going to the bottom of the 6th. And Gubicza coming back out. And Herbeck will be your leadoff hitter. So let me get this back on the Strat computer so I can score it. So Neiman got the ground ball to first, and that ends the inning. And now we're ready for Gubicza and Herbeck. Herbeck 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. 1-9, and that's a ground ball to second. 1 away. It's now 5-2 Kansas City. And the 2 runs were unearned. They were back-to-back pass balls. Here's Gaetti, 4-6, and that's a strikeout. And for Gubicza, that is only strikeout number 3. He's not a big strikeout pitcher, apparently, at least not in this game. And here is Roy Smalley. Designated hitter is 0 for 2. 1-5, and that's a home run, 1-4. But that's a 6. That'll be a double for Roy Smalley, a 2-out double for Mr. Smalley. And now it's a clutch situation for Brunansky. Brunansky in the clutch loses a hit on 1-2. Everywhere else he is neutral. So you're pretty much looking at neutral at this point. 5-4. That's a fly to center, and that will end the inning. So Gubicza comes in and gets another shutdown inning. And at the end of 6 complete, it's Kansas City 5 and Minnesota 2. And we revert right back to the Minnesota bullpen now. And we're going to check and see who's got the rest and who doesn't. Or who needs the rest and who doesn't, I should say. We try to use Frazier as long as he's not tired. Let's see about Frazier. He's not tired, so we can use Frazier. So George Frazier going to be coming in relief for the Twins. In the real season, he was 5-5 with a 4.98 ERA and 2 saves. On the replays, 2-1 with a 7.08 and 1 save. So he certainly had his issues in the replay. We're going to see if he can have a nice outing this time. It's a +5 hold, which is not good either. Here's Willie Wilson. He'll lead it off. Hello, Dr. D. Willie Wilson to lead it off. He's 0 for 3. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to third. Now he's 0 for 4. One away for Kevin Seitzer. 2 for 3 for Seitzer. 5-5, and that's a strikeout for Frazier. So Frazier's off to a good start. And that'll bring up Tartable. I guess my thoughts of a cycle went away very quickly after that triple and home run, but This could very well be his last at bat. 3-8, and he's going to get a 1-12 single. That's an 11, so he does get the single. So he's a double away from the cycle, but he has to be able to hit again. And he may not even, depending on what the Royals do, he may not get a chance to hit again. Depending on how many runs they score or how many hits they get. So here's Thad Bosley. But right now, Tartable is the player of the game leader in the clubhouse. 5-9, and that's a strikeout for Frazier to end the inning. So we have the 7th inning stretch. I think my coffee's still pretty warm enough to drink. Yes, it's still warm, so we're going to keep rolling on. No need for a break. This is Gubicza's fatigue inning, so we'll keep an eye on that. And we are in the area where pinch hitting is now allowed. So we could see some pinch hitting for the Twins. Let's see who's on their bench. And let me make sure my cards match what the computer tells me. I don't want to use anybody that wasn't on the roster. So they have available to pinch hit Dan Gladden, Greg Gagne, Tim Laudner, the backup catcher, Mark Davidson, and switch hitter Gene Larkin. Those are the guys that are available to pinch hit. And let's see what they're going to do here. They're going to pinch hit for Lombardozzi, only a 238 hitter. They're going to use Gene Larkin to pinch hit. So we're going to have, right here. We're going to have Larkin pinch hit here in the 7th, and then we're going to have Gagne come in and play shortstop in the 8th, and Newman will move over to second base in the 8th. So that's the way they'll play that. And they'll get a pinch hitter for Butera as well, and that looks to be Dan Gladden, most likely. Or actually, it's going to be Mark Davidson. So Davidson will pinch hit for Butera, and then Laudner will catch in the 8th inning. So there's going to be some changes, obviously, done. So Larkin and Davidson will be the first 2 pinch hitters in the inning. So 1 represents Larkin's hit, 2 represents Gagne going forward defensively, 3 represents Davidson's pinch hit, and 4 represents Laudner going catching the rest of the way. So here's Larkin. We'll get the numbers on Larkin on the replay as the Twins try to generate some offense. Larkin, well, first of all, real season, Larkin was a 266 hitter with 4 home runs. On the replay, Larkin is hitting 366, just 41 at bats, but still 366 is pretty darn good. A homer and 6 driven in. 1-3, and then he's hit by the pitch. How do you like that? You come in and pinch hit, and you get hit by a pitch. That's kind of interesting. And now Larkin will leave the bases, and coming into pinch run for him will be Greg Gagne. So Gagne has a chance to, well, probably don't want to run down 5-2, I guess. So they're going to just, but he is going to have to be held because he has the asterisk there. So at least that's something for him. Gagne is now your pinch runner. So let me bring Gagne into pinch run on the computer. So we get a good base runner for the Twins, and he'll stay in the game to play shortstop. And now Mark Davidson is coming in to hit for Butera. So Davidson on the real season, 267 hitter with 1 home run and 150 at bats. On the replay, in 66 at bats, he's hitting 212 with a home run. So they will hold Gagne on second, but he won't try to steal because of the score. 6-8 for Gubicza. That's a 1-12. 1-12 is a single. That's an 11. So Mark Davidson gets a base hit, 1 star. So how about that? Both pinch hitters reach. And now the tying run will come to the plate in Al Newman. Can't pitch hit for Newman because you got to have somebody to play second base. Newman is an A bunter. He could bunt and try to cut the lead to 5-4. That might be a beneficial thing for Newman to do. Roll the havoc first. Nothing happening. So we're going to bunt. Will the infield be expecting it? Yes, they will. So he's going to be turned into a B bunter, and we'll see where the bunt goes. The bunt is going to go right back to the pitcher, I believe, on a 1 like that. Yes, it does. The bunt is going right back to Gubicza, and we're in column B. So he needs basically a 9 or better, or 9 or less. That's a 4, so that's a speed check. He might beat this out. Al Newman's speed is a 15, a 1 to 15, and he beats this out. Make sure there's no other adjustments. I don't think there is. Nothing here about the defensive range of the player. So it's a 1 to 15, he beats it out. And he does. So it's a bunt single. Newman trying to sacrifice, but he ends up beating it out, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out, and now the Royal bullpen starts to stir with Randy Bush coming to the plate. Bases loaded, nobody out. One more base runner, and Gubicza will be tired. So Kansas City's got the bullpen going. They use Farr quite a bit in the previous game. They have Jerry Don Gleaton, their left-hander, is loosening in the bullpen. And he would probably be looking to face Puckett. I'm sorry, face Herbeck, assuming it gets to there and there's no double plays or anything. So bases are loaded, nobody out. The infield's back for the double play. They need outs. Gubicza to Bush. 6-5, and that is a fly ball left field C, so too shallow to score the run from third base as Bo Jackson gets it back in very quickly. 1 away. Now a double play would get him out of the inning. Here comes Puckett again with the bases loaded. 1 long ball, and the Twins actually could take the lead. Gubicza has to be careful with Puckett. This is going to be probably Gubicza's last batter faced. 3-5, and it's going to be a single 2 stars for Puckett. That's definitely going to be it for Gubicza. Single 2 stars. That's going to be it. Newman will go to third. Scoring is Gagne and Davidson. 2-run single from Puckett makes it a 5-4 game. Gubicza is tired, but it doesn't matter. He was coming out anyway. And with the lefty Herbeck coming up, they're going to be going to the left-hander Jerry Don Gleaton. Gleaton is a -4 holds, makes him a -3. Let's look at the numbers on Gleaton. He was 4-4 with a 4.26 ERA. And we'll see what he produces here in the replay. Gleaton on the replay, and he had 5 saves, by the way. It's 4-4, 4.26 ERA, and 5 saves. On the replays, 0-1 with a 4.38 ERA with 1 save. And he's going to be faced. His job here is to get Kent Herbeck, lefty on lefty. Herbeck traditionally struggles against left-handers. So we'll see what happens with him. Infield, runners on the corners, 1 out. Puckett, I don't know if he wants to try to get the lead on that -3 over there. That would be make it a 1-10 if he got the lead. But I don't think you want to run yourself out of an inning. So they'll hold him on, but he won't go anywhere. Lefty-lefty matchup. Don Gleaton against Kent Herbeck. 112 for Herbeck. He's going to foul it out to Jamie Quirk. 2 down. And that's going to bring up Gaetti. So Jerry Don Gleaton has to get the righty out. Gary Gaetti in a clutch situation. In the clutch against lefties, Gaetti will gain a hit on 1-4 and on 3-9. Got 2 positives there. 5-4 ball game. A base hit will tie this game. 5-11, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-13. That's a 3. We got a tie game. Base hit. Scores Newman. That gets Smithson off the hook, and Gubicza now gets a no decision. Actually, he could still lose it, giving up that single. He's responsible for Puckett. So the single on the 5-11 is a 1 base advancement on ballpark singles. So Puckett stops at second base. But an RBI single from Gaetti has tied this game. And now that brings up the DH, Roy Smalley. Switch hitter. He'll turn around and bat right-handed. Clutch situation again, and he loses the hit on a single and a 1-3. Gleaton trying to get out of the mess. 2-8, and he gets Smalley to ground it to Seitzer to end the inning. But 3 runs in the inning, and after 7 complete, we are tied at 5 apiece. And that's going to be probably it for Don Gleaton. And now we need to get the numbers for both Gubicza and Gleaton on this ball game. We are now tied at 5 apiece. And we need to do some defensive work here on the computer. Tim Laudner will come in and catch. And so now the only bench player remaining is for Minnesota is Dan Gladden. He's the only guy left on the bench. And let's do some maneuvering here as Newman will switch from shortstop to second base, and Gagne will stay in the game to play shortstop. Now we go to this box score and get all the information on Gubicza and Gleaton. Finish out their pitching lines. Gubicza is going to go 6 1/3. They give up 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 of which were earned because those 2 were unearned here on those passed balls. Walked 4, struck out 3. Gleaton goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up a hit, nothing else, but he did give up the inherited run. And now we've got a brand new ball game, 5-5 here in the 8th inning. And Frazier back out for his 2nd inning of work. We'll be facing White, Balboni, and Jackson. Not sure who's going to come in for the Royals yet. Depends on if they take the lead or not. If they take the lead, Quisenberry's coming in. If it stays tied, they'll probably go to another direction. But right now, they're worried about trying to get the lead back. Here's Frank White. 3-4 for White, and that is a base on balls. So good start if you're Kansas City. White's aboard. He's no threat to run, though. And here's Balboni. Balboni is 1 for 3. .58, and that's a strikeout for Frazier. He's not tired yet, so the strikeout is good. And that'll bring up Bo Nose. See if Bo can know what to do here. He tripled his last time up. He's 2 for 3, single and a triple. .27 for Bo, and he strikes out. Bo reverts back to midseason form with that strikeout. And here's Salazar. 2 outs, and White still at first base. That's a 2. So we're looking at the balk rating of Frazier. So I got to go to the computer for that. Frazier's balk rating is a 5. He's a wild pitch 15. Balk of 5. So 1-5, he's going to balk. That's a 19, no balk. Here's Salazar. 1-6, and that's a ground ball to short. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 5 apiece. Frazier's got some fatigue still, or some endurance still. So unless they take the lead in the 8th, he's going to pitch the 9th. If they take the lead, they'll bring in Reardon. If not, Frazier will continue. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Royals need a new pitcher. Go to their bullpen. And it's going to be Rick Anderson. Rick Anderson, another former Met, will be coming on to pitch. That leaves Farr and Quisenberry in the bullpen remaining. Rick Anderson will be facing Brunansky, Gagne, and Laudner. So it is Anderson. So just to remind myself, this is Gagne, and this is Laudner going forward. All right, so Rick Anderson on the real season 0-2 with a 13.85 ERA in 13 innings. On the replay, he's 0-0 in 10 innings pitched. He's only having an ERA of 6.1, so he's done much better. But he has given up 18 hits in 10 innings. And he's going to face Tom Brunansky. He's a +9 hold, so that doesn't help either. Here's Brunansky. 3-7 for Brunansky, and that is a solid single for Tom Brunansky. Leadoff single for Bruno. And now Gagne is an A bunter, so he is definitely going to bunt. This is definitely one of these times where the bunt is pretty much called for. Nothing on the Havoc. Corners are obviously in. We don't even need to roll for it. We know it's going to be a bunt. We know they're going to attempt a bunt, so the corners are in. The bunt goes to 4, which I think is the third baseman. Let me see here. No, it's actually the first baseman, so it's Balboni who's going to make the play on the bunt. And with the B bunter, 1-9 for a good bunt. That's a 10, so he's going to pop it up. Balboni makes the play. Getting back safely at first is going to be Gagne. I put P3B there to tell me that he popped the bunt up. So it's a pop-up. And now that brings up Tim Laudner, his first at bat since coming in defensively to replace Butera. Laudner on the real season, a 191 hitter, but he did hit 16 home runs. On the replay, Laudner is hitting 268 with 6 home runs. So he's doing much, much better in the replay. Facing Anderson. 1-4, and that is a ballpark single check. 1-13, that's a base hit for Tim Laudner. And that will move Gagne to second base with 1 out. First and second, 1 out. Back to the top of the order for Al Newman, who is now at second base. Switch hitter against Mr. Anderson. I feel like I ought to use my Matrix voice for Mr. Anderson, my agent voice. All right, Mr. Anderson, it is your at-bat. To 8, and as a pop-up to short. 2 down, and now it's Randy Bush. Clutch situation for Bush. In the clutch for Bush, he will lose a hit. Gain a hit on 3-3 and 3-10. Everywhere else he's neutral, but he gets an extra couple of hits here in column 3. Get a 2-11, though, and he's hit by the pitch. Second hit batter in this game, and it's going to load the bases for Kirby Puckett once again. And he's going to come up for the 3rd time with the bases loaded. First time he flew to center. Second time he got a 2-run single. So now we're down to Kirby Puckett with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Clutch situation for Puckett, and in the clutch for Puckett, he will lose those 3 hits in column 1, 1-2, 1-7, and 1-8. Everywhere else he is neutral. Bases loaded for Puckett. 2-6 for Puckett, and he's going to single 1 star, but it's good enough to get the Twins the lead, and now Reardon's loosening in the bullpen for the Twins. Scoring is Gagne. They've come all the way back to take a 6-5 lead. Everybody else moves up 90 feet. And here comes Herbeck, and they don't have any lefties in the bullpen remaining to bring in to face Herbeck, so they're kind of stuck with who they have. Unless they want to bring in Quisenberry to try to get out of the inning and keep it a 1-run game. But they've been overusing Quisenberry and Farr. So, you don't want to wear these guys out to the point where they can't even pitch anymore. Yeah, I think it's going to be Anderson or bust, because Quisenberry and Farr have both been overworked. They really need a game off. So we're down to this. Herbeck to Anderson. Herbeck looking to put the game away, basically. 6-11, that's a walk. It's going to force in a run. And now it's a 2-run lead for the Twins. They lead at 7-5. And Gaetti is up with the bases loaded. So Anderson with a hit by pitch and now a walk. Really doing himself in. That's all we have in the bullpen. That's all there is. And now we got a phone call coming in. Good thing we got rid of that. Mike, I don't have anybody else in the bullpen for Kansas City. That's all they've got. Quisenberry and Farr. That's it. Only other pitchers on the roster are Saberhagen, Lee Brandt, and Jackson. They're starters. So that's it. It's a very light bullpen. They're carrying 6 bench players, but not that many pitchers. So it's Rick Anderson or bust, basically, at this point. The other 2 guys just been overworked because they carry such a small bullpen, and the starters haven't been going as long as they need to go. So just the way it is. Here's Gaetti. 1-7, and oh boy, 1-7 for a Gaetti. A 1-15, that's a 19. It'll be a double. It will not be a grand slam. It'll be a double. But that's probably going to clear the bases. I know at least 2 runs are going to score. And that means Reardon will sit down now because it's no longer a save situation. Herbeck, just to be nice, will stop at third base. 2-run double for Gary Gaetti. It is now a Dolly Parton 9-5 special. Anderson is tired, but he's in there for the duration. 9th man to bat in the inning, Roy Smalley. 4-8, and that's a walk. That's going to load the bases again. And now Bernansky, who led off the inning, he's going to bat again as the Twins bat around. The Twins will bat around. And Anderson, they're just like, you got it, buddy. It's all you. Nobody else. It's all you. 5-8, and it's a ground ball first base C. They finally get out of the inning as Balboni flips to Anderson covering to end it. But the Twins put a 4 spot in the 8th. So how about that? 3 in the 7th and 4 in the 8th. And they take a 9-5 Dolly Parton lead. For Anderson, he's going to go 1 inning on his pitching. And we'll get the gory details everywhere else. And Frazier's going to stay in the game. There's no reason to take Frazier out at this point. No reason at all. Let's get the gory numbers on Anderson, who had been doing pretty well up to this point. 1 inning pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs. They were earned. 2 walks and no strikeouts. And he's set to take the loss. Frazier's set to get the win. It'll be Frazier taking on Quirk, Wilson, and Seitzer, unless they want to pinch hit for Quirk, which they might. Let's see what they got on the bench. They might go to some righties. Or the only lefty they have is George Order, and he's terrible. You know what? They're just going to stick with Quirk. They just don't have much from the left. They have nothing from the left-hand side. They're going to go and let Quirk hit. No sense not letting him hit. 5-2 on Frazier. It's ground ball first base C. So Herbeck gets it, flips to Frazier covering, and there's 1 away. So the Royals thought they had this one in the bag, and then when Gubicza left the bullpen, Gleaton did okay, but Anderson really crapped the bed, as they say. 6-9 on Frazier. That's going to be a single rather, for Willie Wilson. But down by 4, you're not going to steal. So they will hold him on just so they don't give him a free base, but he's not going to try anything. Here is Seitzer. And Reardon will get up in light toss in case they need to, because if Frazier, they're not going to let Frazier blow it either. It's a 1 for a potential wild pitch on Frazier. His wild pitch rating is a 15. But no wild pitch. Blocked by Laudner. 4-7, and that's a 1-17 single. That's a base hit. So now Reardon is definitely loosening in earnest, and he might be coming into this ball game. It is now a save situation for Reardon. So they're going to bring in Reardon to try to get out of the mess. Usually he likes to pitch a clean inning, but they're going to ask him to clean this mess up, as they don't want to let this one slip away. So Frazier is going to go, I can do this manually, I think, 3 hits. He's going to go 2 1/3 innings. 3 hits, no runs so far, but he is responsible for both those guys. He walked 1 and struck out 4. Can't close the book just yet. Reardon a +1 hold. And Laudner is a 0, so he's a +1. So Reardon will be on, and he'll be facing Tartable. And again, Tartable with a double could hit for the cycle. I didn't think he'd get another at bat, but he is going to get another at bat. But he's got to face Reardon. You can't face Frazier. He's going to have to do it the hard way and face the closer. So Jeff Reardon being brought in to the game. And Reardon, real season, was 8-8 with a 4.48 ERA and 31 saves. On the replays, 3-1 with a 3.86 ERA and 9 saves. So going for save number 10 is Mr. Reardon. Tartable, your batter with 1 out and runners at first and second. 112, and that is a ballpark single check. It's a 14. It is not a single. It'll be a fly. Well, we can't use a fly center A because that would move the runners up. So we'll just call it a line out to short. So his attempt at a cycle just went by the wayside as Tartable lined it to short for out number 2. Here's Bosley. He is 1 for 4. .110, and that's a split chance, but it's a 1-4 for a single. That's a 16. He will line it to second, and there's your ball game. Jeff Reardon comes in and cleans up the mess, and the Minnesota Twins defeat the Kansas City Royals Dolly Parton style 9-5. 9 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Twins. 5 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error for the Royals. Losing pitcher is Rick Anderson. The winner is Frazier. The save, Reardon, is 10th. Go to the box score and get the rest of the totals. And pick a player of the game. You could argue George Frazier, 2 1/3 innings of shutout relief, kept them in the game. Reardon won his 2 innings, gave up nothing. Gaetti, though, 3 for 5. So it looks like Gary Gaetti is your player of the game. Gary Gaetti, 3 for 5 for the Twins. Singles here. He has singled here, and he had that big double, 2-run double that really broke it open in the 8th inning. So Gary Gaetti is your player of the game. Frazier with the win improves to 3-1 on the replay. Anderson with the loss drops to 0-1. More importantly, the Twins are now 500, 28-28, and the Royals dropped to 26-28, 1 game behind the Twins. All right, Mike, you have a good day also. So now we got to figure out who the next game is going to be. It's somewhere on the West Coast because there's only 3 games left, and it looks like, from what I've done on the sheet already, we're going to be in Oakland. It'll be the Chicago White Sox, who are 26-26, taking on the first place Oakland A's, who are 31-23. We've got to fill in all the defensive stuff here. But it will be Steve Ontiveros for the Oakland A's against Floyd Bannister, who is 7-0 on the replay. And if not for Jimmy Key, he'd be the pitcher of the game of the season so far at 7-0. So the White Sox, game 382 tomorrow, will be in Oakland Coliseum. No Hot Dog Jackson. He's on the bench. Ron Say had that epic game last time, and he's against the lefty starter. He's back in as DH. So Hot Dog Jackson would have to come off the bench if he's going to play. But that's the game for tomorrow, roughly 9 Eastern or so, somewhere in the mix there. We'll be in Oakland, the White Sox and the Oakland A's. What I may do later today or tonight or whatever, I don't know when, it will either be the Demolition League game, or I could be going to Payoff Pitch and do Steve Carlton's 3rd game of his 1972 replay against Juan Marichal and the San Francisco Giants. That would be on Payoff Pitch. So I could do that. I haven't decided yet what I want to do with that, which one I want to do or whatever. Probably will do the, most likely I will do the Demolition League game to finish up their first games for each of those teams and give people more chance that haven't seen the first game or the last game from Carlton to see it on demand. So probably will be the most likely will be the Demolition League game tonight. But from today, Kansas City had a 5-2 lead going into the bottom of the seventh and let it slip away. And the Twins steal one and win it 9-5, Dolly Parton style. So we go to the standings in the American League West. And the Twins now take over, or actually have joined a three-way tie for second place with California and Chicago. They're both, all teams are at 500, and they're 4 games back of the Oakland A's. So the White Sox, if they defeat Oakland, will bring everybody a little bit closer, and they'll obtain sole possession of second place. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic 1987 style. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.